First and foremost, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. And we do this in the name of His only Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ.
That's right.
Right? We the Israelites, the blacks, the Hispanics, the Native Americans go back to the 12 tribes of Israel, God's chosen people. Our message every week is that you blacks, Hispanics, and you Native Americans, you have something greater in front of you in terms of your future, in terms of your destiny. Your destiny is to rule this place.
Right.
Right? Your destiny is to rule this world, but you got to do it in righteousness, right? And the things that prevent you from doing that really is you at the end of the day. We are our own greatest enemy. We are standing in between us and the Most High God, Yahweh. We are standing between us and the rulership of this wicked ass place. Right? So we can take two stances. We can continue to complain down in the mud, and we can keep getting it out the mud. You got to get it out the mud, and you got to polish it off, and then you got to hope that that investment doubles for you, right? And it comes back fruitful. Or you can take the stance of realizing that you are an Israelite, one of God's chosen people, a prince, a priest, a princess, right? And begin to do the things that the Most High God didn't ask you to do, so you don't have to get it out the mud anymore. So the Most High God will give you what is necessary for you to survive. And not only survive, but flourish, right? And it's not going to be an easy path. Right now, what we got to deal with is all sources of wickedness coming up against us in these last days, including our own people, like me and his brother was just talking about. We're going to be running into enemies from our own people, as well as this white man, the devil the Bible speaks of. So right now, more than any time ever, it's very important that we start to build ourselves up spiritually, right? So let's bring that out.
No, sir.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 26.
Bring it out.
And he that overcometh, and
He that do what?
he that overcometh.
He that overcometh. And how do you overcome? Right? You overcome with the works that the Most High God told you to do, period, point blank. And what are we overcoming? The evil of this world. The affliction of the white man up against our people. Hunger, poverty. We're overcoming these things. Right? We're supposed to do the Most High God's will to overcome these things. So let's start again with that understanding.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
Until when?
Unto the end.
So we got to keep the Most High God's works, His law, statutes, and commandments into the end. And the individual that does this, what's going to happen?
To him will I give power over the nations.
Power over what?
Over the nations.
Power over the nations. And that's what we want, is power over these wicked ass nations. These same nations that have had power over us. What was
Power
that?
to all the peaceful people, right on.
You said what?
Power to all the peaceful people.
To all the peaceful people. Power to the black man, the Hispanic man, the Native American man.
My sentiments exactly.
This guy right here, man. How you doing, my friend? So power to the black, Hispanic, the Native American man, the Israelites, God's chosen people. Let's take power away from the white man and let's start doing that.
Yes,
by fulfilling
amen.
the righteousness of the Most High God and doing His will. The Most High God will slowly take His power away, like you see happening right here before you. I'll go ahead and drop it in the bag.
You gotta do it, I can't bend over.
Just drop it in the bag. Thank you. Go ahead and finish that out. Actually, start it back from the top.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, and verse 26.
Bring it out.
He that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
The Most High God says He's going to give you power over the nations.
The
If you endure and keep His works until the end. So there's no sidestepping. There's no running to the right hand, running to the left. Right, doing a little bit of the devil's work over here and a little bit of God's work over here. No, we got to walk a straight and fine line. We got to begin to put down the dope. We got to begin to stop pimping. We got to begin to stop deceiving and killing each other and destroying each other. We got to begin to do these things. And if we endure that until the end, the Most High God is going to give us rulership over these wicked nations. And we get to reverse these curses, right?
I like to support your ministry.
Go ahead and drop that. And get Romans 12 and 21.
Can I have one?
Romans 12 and 21.
I love you, man. Please give me one.
He's an Israelite.
I am an Israelite.
Are you a black, Hispanic, or Native American?
No.
What's your father on your father's side?
English.
English?
Yeah.
Like he comes from England or is
No, from Germany, royalty, then to England, from Norway.
Okay, so he would be qualified as an Edomite according to the Bible, right?
I don't know.
See, I do. So I'm a biblical scholar. So we're here to tell you that the white man, he's an Edomite according to the Bible.
Biblical research, teaching, and fellowship.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 13,
I love you, man.
12 and 21. Be not overcome of evil.
Don't be overcome with good.
So we're supposed to endure and do the Most High God's works to the end and not be overcome of evil. Right? We know these laws, statutes, and commandments. We walk in them and we don't allow evil to sway us into doing that. Right? Instead, we do what?
Live love.
But overcome evil with good.
Instead, we overcome evil with good. That's the law, statutes, and commandments the Most High gave us, right? If we do that, the Most High God said He's going to give us rulership over the nations.
Right.
We ain't going to have to live in these conditions no more. Let me get Romans 7 and 12.
Bring it out.
You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have been told far too long that you can do a little bit of wicked and good will come out of it, and the Most High God, He will understand you and He'll let you do whatever you want. But that's just not the right. Right? The Bible tells us different. The Bible tells us if we don't do the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, we'll continue to be destroyed. We'll continue to be at the bottom. We'll continue to be afflicted here in Babylon. And our oppressor, the dog of the earth, will continue to be the one that rules over us. Right? Go ahead and bring that up.
This is the book of Romans chapter 12, chapter 7 and verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
The law is holy, the commandment is holy and just and good. Right? So it's not an obscurity when it says, you know, do good and overcome evil with good. This is not an obscurity. This is something that is certain. The law, statutes, and commandments, right? This isn't something that we have to make up as we go along. This isn't something that's esoteric, that's far beyond anything that we could comprehend. It's right in the book. The same book that's been collecting dust on Granny's dresser all this time, right?
Okay.
Read that again from the start.
This is Romans chapter 7 and verse 12.
You know.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
See, we need to believe that and stand in that. We believe everything that the white man tells us is just and good, and we go along and get along in hopes that the same man that's been whipping our back for the past 500 years all of a sudden is going to tell us something that's for our betterment instead of our detriment. Right? We believe whatever, right? But when it comes to the laws of the Most High God, we look at those sideways. We look at the commandments like they're the ones that's evil, right? Like we know better than God all of a sudden. And this is just not the case. Right? Let me get Revelations 2 and 10. Revelation chapter 2, verse 10.
You know. Pastor, tell it.
How you doing, brother and sister? We out here for y'all. We out here for y'all. It's good to see y'all.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
We don't need to fear any of the things that we should suffer. We're going to suffer a lot of things as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? One of those things that we had to suffer was slavery, right? But guess what? Is slavery necessarily over for the black, Hispanic, Native American?
No.
Even out of the mouth of this white man, slavery's not over, right? No. Now we are slave to this consumerist society. We are slave to we are a slave to our susceptibility to want to be like everybody else. That's what has us in slavery now. So this white nigga is a dang little piece of American dream in front of us, and we will perpetually chase it on a hamster wheel, right?
Hell no!
That's what keeps us a slave, right? But if we just break out of that mindset and realize we're not supposed to be chasing the American dream, but the Israelite dream, which is us to be delivered from the hand of our enemies and all that hate us, and to go into the land that our forefathers once possessed, then that's us starting to break free of slavery. That's what we're trying to teach you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That you don't have to be slaves to this devil anymore. But too many of us are comfortable with being slaves, right? Too many of us are comfortable with oppression. Hold that, and let me get Isaiah 30 and 9.
Bring it out.
Isaiah 30 and 9, Baba Kushar. Too many of us are comfortable with the luxuries of being a houseman. Hey, can you stand back and just let us bring out what we're doing right? You're being disruptive.
Please have one brochure.
Those are for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Please, can I help you?
I'd
like to contribute to your fund.
Donations?
Yes.
Donations are helpful.
I know. Right,
but those flyers, we have to send them out sparingly.
How can I get in touch with you? Give me your phone number.
We're gonna be right here every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can bring a donation every Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
That's the Sabbath. It's the true Saturday.
No.
I would like to have one. I'd like to.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 9.
Tell it.
That this is a rebellious people.
We are rebellious people. We love all manner of nonsense and to just do whatever we want, right? But above all, what we like is to be slaves instead of being rulers. This is a mentality we have to do away with. We have to pick up a ruling mindset, right? So that we can overcome this adversary, right? We're supposed to be overcoming to the end. That means we got to take accountability, something a slave don't really know nothing about. You want to be able to blame it all on master, and you want to be able to sleep off the pain and the hurt that you're feeling on a day-to-day, but that's not how it works. You got to wake up and realize that we're experiencing this pain for a reason. We're being afflicted for a reason. We're being run through the ringer for a reason, same time.
What time? What time?
Lying children, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, which say to the seers, see not, to the prophets, prophesy not. Unto us, right things, speak unto us smooth things.
We want smooth things to be said to us so that we can continue with our wickedness and so that we can feel comfortable in doing it, not thinking that there'll be any repercussions when there will be, right? But this isn't going to benefit us. So we out here to speak to you an uncomfortable truth, put you on to what's really going on.
It's my truth.
Speak unto us smooth things, prophecy, deceits. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise the word and trust in oppression.
Because you despise the word and trust in what?
Oppression.
Trust in oppression. We trust in oppression too goddamn much, right? We trust in the EBT card, right? We trust in all the benefits that the white man gives us if we have a birth certificate and social security number, but we don't trust in the Most High God. We don't want Babylon to end because we don't want to not be able to shop till we drop anymore. Right? Just like our forefathers continued to trust in oppression when we left the land of Egypt with Moses. What do we want? We wanted the benefits of Egypt. We wanted to cry about slavery on one hand, but we wanted to keep getting the garlic and the onions and the melons and all the delectables from Egypt.
Love you.
And it just don't work like that. You gotta choose a side. America comes with all kind of fancy restaurants and high-rise condos, but when you step outside of them condos and them high-rises, when you step outside them stores, and sometimes while you right there in the store, you still a nigga to these people. You still a spick to these people. Right? You still an Uncle Tomahawk to these people, which goes to show you, no matter how much luxury they present to you on a platter, you have to realize that it's just a bribery, that you continue to lay on your back and let them proverbially fuck you as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And that's all these nations have ever done is fuck you. Fuck you out of your goods, out of your land. Fuck your women, literally. And sometimes your boys. Send you off into slavery, into different lands. Right? Afflict you in your own land till you don't recognize it anymore, till you don't want to see it anymore. That's our reality as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we got to realize that that reality is attached to these luxuries that we don't want to let go of, right? Read that last part again. Trusting in oppression.
Wherefore get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise the word and trust in oppression and perverseness.
We have to trust in oppression if we despise the word, right? Especially when we're dealing with Christianity. When you're dealing with Christianity, they teach you to despise the word of God in the name of what? Prosperity. But whose prosperity are we talking about? This is the white man's prosperity. It's the American dream. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans want to forsake the word of God so you can stay asleep and keep dreaming this dream or living in this nightmare, right? Sleepwalking, so to speak. And it's not good for us. And we can see the proof in that. Men leaving the household, single parent homes are on the rise even still, even though the abortion rate is also increasing. Like, these are negatives on top of negatives. And it's all because we are telling the men of the Lord to cause the word to cease from among us. Because we don't want the word of God going off in our house. We want to do what we want to do, and we want to trust in the oppression of the white man. He's going to take care of us if we do what he tells us to do. This is not the mentality of a ruler, right? We either on the path or we off it. And the news is that you're going to be on point, you're going to be good. If you're doing the Most High God's will when this comes crashing down, but if you want to keep doing the white man's will, if you want to keep serving him as your God, then you're going to be destroyed right along with his filthy ass. Right, go ahead.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 12. And to the angel of the church of Pergamos,
Revelations 2 and 10.
Salaki, Revelations 2, verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
We're going to suffer some things. Sometimes there ain't going to be no garlic, no onions, ain't going to be no fish. There's famine and pestilence coming here. Like, we already see a little bit of COVID, but it's about to hit a high that you can't fathom. Because you're too comfortable here in Babylon. So when it hits, you're going to be caught off guard if you're not in his word. Right? So we're not supposed to fear any of these things. It's going to come regardless. Right? So you might as well get up with the Most High God so he has your back in these last days. At least you'll have that compared to the heathen round about us that ain't going to have nothing but their weapons and their hatred for the Israelites to survive off of. Their lack of respect for each other. That's what they're going to have to live on. Whereas for us, wisdom is going to be the stability of our times. And if we don't get that, if we don't gather wisdom and understanding, then we're going to be just as destitute as we are now. And it's going to hurt just as much more. Right? Go ahead.
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
The devil going to be casting us into prison at a rate that we can't fathom. We already the majority in the prison system as the minority here in America, but the devil going to be casting the men of the Lord into prison. And some of the sisters that's in this truth, casting us into prison. But still, you have to pick a side. The scripture said, endure unto the end and be saved. Endure to the end and get rulership over the nations. Your only option outside of that is go to prison for nothing and then die at the end of it. Because you decided to give up while you was in the joy, right?
That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
That you shall be what?
Have tribulation 10 days.
That you shall be tried and have tribulation 10 days. When you're being tried, it's because the Most High wants to see what's really in your spirit. What you really made of. Are you the solid gold that he wants for his kingdom? Or are you just a knockoff? Are you gold-plated? Are you pretending? Are you playing a game? Are you just wearing the fringes for show? This is what the Most High God is going to be looking at. Right? So a test is going to come with this thing. Go ahead.
Be thou faithful unto death.
Be faithful unto death. You might as well start now while you're ahead, right? Start to practice. Get on the line. Stop driving by in your car and waving at the men of the Lord. Enjoy them and start to do what you are called to do. Start to fulfill your office, right? So that when it's time for you to be tested, you've already been practicing. Right? But a lot of you ain't looking at it like that. A lot of you want to be comfortable in the white man's kingdom as long as you can, and you hope as long as you claim you're an Israelite that you're going to get up out of it somehow, and it just don't work like that. The Most High God said there's a test that's coming with this, and you got to start to prepare for the test now. Go ahead.
And I will give thee a crown of life.
We want a crown of life, so we got to want to pass the test because that's the only way to get it, right? There's not some knowledge from some other nation that we can start to practice and hope that, okay, we can get a crown of life this way. If I just get my chakras activated, then I can get this crown of life. It don't work like that. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you can start to look to the Most High God and his word for the outcome that you want, instead of going to this white man and listening to him about his views on the kingdom of heaven that he's not going to have any part of. He's not going to be able to tell you how to get the keys to this kingdom, how to get rulership over these nations. He's only going to be able to tell you how to be a slave over and over and over again, because that's what his destiny is at the end of the day. Let's get Luke 3 and 19. Luke 3 and 19, and I want you to read through 20, my brother.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 19. But Herod, the tetrarch, being reproved by him for Herodotus, his brother Philip's wife, and for all the evils which Herod had done, added yet this above all, that he shut up John in prison. Now when all the people were baptized, it came to pass.
So he put John the Baptist in prison for doing what? Rebuking him, right? That's what we do. Every time we come out here, we don't just talk about it, we have to live about it, because there's a test with it. It's not always going to be right on the spot, but it's coming regardless. So brothers and sisters that's just chucking them up and driving off, you got to realize that when you're claiming to be an Israelite, there's going to be a test that comes with just that. So you might as well increase your walk tenfold. You might as well start to hit your spiritual weights and try yourselves out here on these corners, because we're going to be cast into prison for spreading the righteousness of this word. We're going to be cast into prison just for claiming to be Israelites, just like we were during the Hellenistic period. Right? This is not a game that we're participating in. This is a movie that's playing out. And in this script, the Most High God says those that are claiming and doing his will are going to have to be tested. Just like John the Baptist was. He was just an example of a brother doing the will of the Most High God. And there's a consequence for it. He's being afflicted and he's being tested. right? So in the context of this story, Herod is messing with his family, his wife, which is against the law. We rebuke the white man for being the devil the Bible speaks of all the time, and all manner of wickedness that he shows us, right? One day there's going to be a consequence for that. You think these white people love hearing about it, the devil the Bible speaks of, and how when the police is done away with and the military ain't functioning like it used to, you think they ain't going to take they're not going to take matters into their own hands and seek out some of them same brothers that was talking that shit on the corner? Right? You see how crazy it is now for you just to chuck up the deuces and drive off and scream Yahawashi out the window and not be doing your spiritual work. You see how crazy that is? You're going to have yourself on the line for an ass whipping that's meant for a real soldier of God. Right? So you got to really pick a side. And it's not to say that it's easier on the other side where you just out of the knowledge. It's that you're going to get a hardship one way or the other. So you got to decide which hardship you want to choose. Right? What benefits you want to come out of this thing with. You're not going to come out with any benefits as a brother that refuses to pick up his nationality and his responsibility as an Israelite, but you're going to get a whole bunch of consequences. Whereas there's Israelite brothers that's out here right now telling you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, they're going to see a whole bunch of consequences for what they want out of this thing. But it's time for us to be decisive. It's time for us to really think about what it is that we're doing out here on these streets. So which consequences do you want to have to receive? Which benefits do you want out of life, right? So go ahead and drop that, and let me get Matthew 14. Matthew 14 and 3, and I want you to read through 11. Matthew 14 and 3 to 11.
The book of Matthew, chapter 14 and verse 3. For Herod had laid hold on John, and bound him, and put him in prison for Herodotus, his brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her.
So John rebuked this bastard. He's now in prison for it, and guess what he's about to have to experience? What his consequences going to be?
And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him a prophet. For when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them.
Herodotus, the daughter of Herodotus.
The daughter of Herodotus, Salakia, danced before them and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. And she therefore instructed her mother, said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger.
So John the Baptist is rebuking his family for the wickedness that's going on in it. Herod, he's so wicked, he's lusting after his brother Philip's wife. Right? She's busting it for him, and you know, she's making them promises saying that if you do something for me, then, you know, I'm going to do a little something for you. What it is that she wants is for them to behead John the Baptist, the righteous man of God, and bring his head as a gift to this little bitch. Right? This is the type of things that we got to face as men of the Lord, and as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is why we got to pick a side. This is how deep the game gets that you think is being played right now.
And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them that sat with him at meat, he commanded it be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother.
So here's the thing, go ahead and drop that, and let me get Luke 21 and 20, and read through 24. So here's the thing, John the Baptist was beheaded, but he endured into the end. Right? So you think that this is not accounted for when it comes to the Most High God? The answer is no, it is accounted for. The Most High God is keeping record of those who would die, who would do much as die for his will. Right? The Most High God is paying attention to this. Just like he's paying attention to the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans who would die before listening to him, who don't give a damn about what he has to say. Right? Go ahead and bring that out in Luke 21 and 20. Luke 21 and 20 through 24. Right? Because this isn't all that we got to worry about. We don't just got to worry about some wicked Idumean that wants his brother's wife to stood for him, beheading us. We got to worry about wickedness coming up against us just because we are who we are.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is not.
This is dealing with 70 AD. This is a part of why we aren't in our land today. Right? Because the events of 70 AD, when Titus Vespasian destroyed Jerusalem essentially and kicked us up out of our land. Israelites who was gung-ho about the hamashiach, Yahawashi, and Israelites who didn't give a damn. going to show you that it don't matter if you embrace who you are as an Israelite or not. This affliction is still going to come up on you. So you might as well get with what we're talking about right now. You might as well come into the truth. You might as well begin to please the Most High God, because at least that way you have a chance of Him coming and saving you when times get rough.
Verse 21, and let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
We were fleeing into the mountains in every direction. Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries therein enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that get sucked in those days.
The Most High God wasn't even showing mercy on pregnant women. He wasn't even showing mercy on women that were breastfeeding. But now here we are in the modern day world of religion, and we think because we good old Christians and we feel like we good in our heart that the Most High God is going to spare us. These were Israelites that were following hamashiach to the T, right? Some of them. And they were not immune to this thing. So the Most High God is not playing with stories. When He puts prophecies like Jacob's trouble in prophets' mouth, like Jeremiah and Daniel, right? We got to understand that these things are going to come to pass regardless, and it ain't going to be no cakewalk.
For there shall be great distress in the land.
There shall be great distress in the land. There was great distress in the land then. There's going to be great distress in the land here.
And wrath upon this people.
And there's going to be wrath upon the children of the Most High God.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And if you think that they was falling by the edge of the sword, Jeremiah 30 says that the time that's coming is going to be great to where none was like it. We're going to be falling by the edge of the sword. We're going to be being run down by trucks, all these things. So it's not a game. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you gotta realize these things are not a game. Nobody is playing with you.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
We was led away captive into all nations. Now all praise is to the Most High God. This is our last captivity. So that's not something that we need to worry about in these last days, right? Not in terms of a prophecy of great captivity, but we were led away captive into all nations. Why? Because the Most High God wasn't playing, right? Well,
and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And so now our home, Jerusalem, is being trodden down by the Gentiles, and it will be trodden down by these wicked ass people for how long?
Until the end of times, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the Most High sends His Son to redeem us, bring us out of these wicked ass nations, and bring us back to our land. That's how long these heathen are going to get to tread down our lands. It's not a game, man. These people are over there breaking every commandment that you can think of, and they're still able to prosper over there because they're not the children of God. And we're over here living at the bottom of the bottom because the Most High God promised His children that that's what would happen in exchange for the mentality where we feel like we don't have to keep His commandments and obey Him anymore. We are seeing the proof. We are living the proof, and we keep thinking it's a goddamn game. And it's just not, brothers and sisters. It's just not. Let's get 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3 and 1. And I'll read through 5. 2 Timothy 3 and 1 through 5. Bible for sure.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
Perilous times shall come in the last days. Perilous times shall come. Other translations tell you that this means savage times may come. So you think about the Mad Max movies. You think about the Book of Eli. That's what is headed for Babylon the Great. Perilous times, savage times. Those are coming regardless of who you are.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankful, unthankful, unholy.